Hello everyone, my name is Silas Viskovich and today I'm here to talk to you about how you can make your own worm compost bin from home. Composting is a great way to divert food scraps that would otherwise end up in the landfill and turn them into a compost that you can use to fertilize your garden. Let's get started. To begin, you'll need to make your worm compost bin with the following materials. You'll need 2 plastic containers, a lid, you'll need your worms, as well as some cut up scraps, recycled papers, newspaper, which is going to be your carbon source, as well as the soil with the worms, which will also be a great carbon source. And then we'll additionally have our food scraps that will serve as our nitrogen source. And then finally, some leaves that will also serve as our carbon source. Next, what we're going to want to do is take our lid and drill some fairly large holes across the entire lid, and this is going to promote great airflow through our system as well as allow moisture to enter. And then we're going to take one of our tubs on the bottom and drill some smaller holes in there, and this is going to allow excess moisture to fall through the first bin and be collected by the second bin, which could be used to water your plants or use in a sustainable way. So next, what we're going to want to do is take our paper scraps right here. We're going to separate them out and get them all separated, and then we're going to put them in our water here to get them moist and wring them out so they're not too wet. We don't want too much water in our system. And then we're going to spread this bedding along the bottom of our first bin. And what we can do is we can add more water to the top if necessary to achieve a perfect moisture level, or add some of our dry excess scraps to achieve that moisture level as well. Now, the last thing we're going to want to do for our bedding is we're going to want to add our leaves and other natural carbon sources to the system, and we're just going to set this on top, and we're going to mix it in with the bedding that we've already put into our system. Now, the next step is we're going to take our worms in the ground soil and we're going to add this to the system. And as we add the worms and the soil to the system, we're going to cover them with the bedding to get them more comfortable in this environment before we add the food scraps. Next, before we add the food scraps, we're going to want to carve out some space within the bedding to allow these food scraps to be covered. Here for some of my food scraps, I have some eggshells, which is a great source. We have some coffee grounds, some banana peel here as well, so we're going to add that in. So this is going to allow the worms to have a great source of nitrogen for the system as well. One last thing to keep in mind with these food scraps is you're going to want to cover them with the bedding to avoid attracting other insects. Now, for the final step, we're going to take this lower bin with the smaller holes drilled at the bottom, and we're going to set it inside of our other bin. And as I mentioned earlier, this will allow the excess moisture to be collected and used in a sustainable way. And then we're going to take our lid with the holes drilled for airflow and set that on top. And there you have it. The worm compost bin is complete, and we're going to let the worms do their job. Now, some final comments on the worm composting bin. This is a very sustainable practice, turning food scraps into something valuable and nutritious for plant growth, as well as another source of excess water, which can be used for watering of your garden as well. And it's something that really can help the community and create sustainable practices for everyone. So I want to thank you for taking the time to grow with me and learn more about creating worm compost bins from home.